So fresh off the heels of my last video where I was sharing just how luxurious and comfortable off-grid life can be, I got my butt handed to me. I've had a number of challenges happen here in the last couple of weeks, and they inspired me to make this video where I'm going to tell you about the challenging side of off-grid life. And this is before hurricane season has even arrived. This is not really anything particularly weather related, just some of the challenges that you face. So let me welcome you, if you're new to the channel, to the Blue Sky Sanctuary. That's my home and property in Baja, Mexico, where I've been living off-grid full-time since 2022. And the challenges began about 10 days ago when I was sleeping in my cozy tent and I got bit by what I assume was a spider right under my arm. I'm going to put some pictures on the screen so that you don't think I'm just being a drama queen here. It was pretty intense and extremely painful. I did go to the clinic and talk to the doctor there, but since in the first 24 hours I wasn't throwing up and I wasn't passing out, she said I should be fine. And I am. But the challenge came mostly with the fact that when you're living off-grid, like I am here, you don't get to call in sick. Everything that needs to be done, whether you've got a sting under your arm or you're sick, you're not feeling well, you've got a headache, it doesn't matter, things still have to be done. So that's kind of challenge number one. No calling in sick when you're living off-grid. Basically, I have to water everything here. Now it's summer, so everything needs to be watered every day. So my morning is at least an hour of walking around with buckets and hand watering everything. Had I done things differently, yes, I could probably have water lines set up here, but sending water through the water lines takes power. And in the morning is not when the solar system's at its strongest. So it's not really when I want to have that expenditure of energy from the solar system. That's one of the reasons I just keep watering by hand. Also, I don't have the resources right now to set up all of the lines, and so it's just me with my buckets. Typically, it is a great way to start the day. It's great for your health to walk with balanced weight in your hands, and normally it's not a problem, but this past 10 days or so working with this pain under my arm, it's been really difficult. On top of that, I had a worker who's a friend who was coming to help me get the property more ready for summer, and I didn't want to rain check on him. It might have been another week or two before we'd be able to schedule a day to work together again. So the day after this sting, I was out here working in the heat and sweating and having the friction on the bite, and I'm sure that didn't help things. So I assume that's part of why it's been healing so slowly. So that is complaint number one. And the next challenge that I faced was more a mental, emotional challenge. And I'm going to take you to the scene of the crime right now. Let's go. So as kicker number two happened right here at my water station. This hose goes into these buckets and, oh, there's some birds right here. And while they're filling, I dunk the kettles into the buckets and I walk around the property and water everything. Well, about a week ago, maybe 10 days ago, we were having the side effects of Hurricane Eric that was passing through Mexico City, and it just brought a taste of hurricane season here, which is basically like having a hairdryer blowing in your face. It's a really, really strong, really, really hot wind. And at the same time, I was having some personal issues. So I came out in the afternoon and it was just, the wind was whipping and it was hot, hot, hot. And I put that hose into this bucket, and to say I forgot about it is almost an understatement. I have no recollection. I didn't just a couple hours later be like, oh my God, I forgot that I left the water on. I just went about the rest of my day and my night. And in the morning, when I got up and I walked outside to take my dogs for a walk, I could hear the water pump in my cistern like splashing water in a way that it shouldn't be doing, because it's about 6 feet underwater, so you can't typically hear it. And I could hear it, and even still, I wasn't like, did I leave the water on? I was like, why on earth can I hear the pump? That doesn't make any sense. And I look in the cistern and the water level's way down. And I came down here and sure enough, the water was flowing all down here. And I didn't film that. I was so mad at myself. I conserve water so well here just because I love to do it. It's in my nature. But there was a little river of water coming down this path here. The beautiful thing is now this tree has come to life, as has this bush, as have the trees all along here. There's just this beautiful patch of green, but it really mentally kicked my ass because I have conserved so much water here over the years that I've been here, and I love doing it, and it's so satisfying. And in one kind of absent-minded, emotionally distraught, irritated, overwhelmed by the heat and the storm moment, all of my efforts went to waste. I literally dumped about 5,000 liters of water into the earth, and at least the plants are appreciating it and they've come to life, and it is beautiful, but it was a hard one for me. I also kind of think I jinxed myself in a previous video. I mentioned how I've never left the water on, which was true. And after I said that and after I shared it on the channel, I thought maybe I shouldn't have said that. If you're really absent-minded, you could run into a good bit of trouble. You leave the water running, you can find yourself without water. And neither of these things have happened to me, and I've been here off-grid for 3 years. And I don't think it will happen. I think that might be something that would be a bit of an initiation. It would happen at the beginning, and then you would learn your lesson and it wouldn't happen again. And now I have had my moment of reckoning, and I am even more careful than I was before, but I was pretty darn careful before, but I am even more careful. So that's issue number 2, living off grid, is you can make a mistake like that and undo all your efforts in a day, in a moment. And that was pretty disheartening. So for my final complaint, I thought we'd come inside because we're going to be looking at the solar charge controller. And you know how people talk about first world problems? I am going to acknowledge that this is a first world problem, off-grid problem. And it relates to the solar system, which I was speaking so highly of last week, and I still stand by it. I love my solar system. It works really, really well. It powers my air conditioning all day. But the reality is that starting around this time, around 4:30 in the afternoon in the summer here, I become a prisoner in my own house. The reason being, the power that the panels are pulling in is less than the power that the AC takes. That means I can't go out for an hour or two at this time of day, or I'm going to come home to the battery being way lower than I'm comfortable with, or I'm going to come home to the house being way hotter than I'm comfortable with, especially considering I have an old dog that lives in the house. So this is a compromise that I need to make every day during the hot season here. So let me take you over to the charge controller and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So basically, here's the charge controller, and you can see that the panels are taking in 805 watts, give or take. The battery is now at 93%, and the total power consumption of the house is about 1,000 watts. So we're a couple hundred watts short of what we need. And so the battery will continue to drop bit by bit over the next couple hours if I don't turn the AC off. So from basically 4 till 6 in the afternoon, every day during the hot season, I need to stay here and keep an eye on the solar system and just turn my AC on and off to hit the sweet spot where the house is cool enough, but the battery has enough power in it that I'm comfortable going into the night. And it's a compromise that I'm willing to make, but it also felt like something that is worth sharing on this video where I'm talking about some of the challenges that I face living off grid. So to finish off this video, I'm seeking shelter under my sunshades. Thank you for listening to me vent about my challenges living off grid, from the physical to the emotional and mental to the first world problems that I just described. And just to complete the circle entirely, the mundane challenges that I've been facing recently, they're kind of associated with summer off-grid in Mexico. They would be dealing with my generator. I'm using that a few days a week when it's overwhelmingly humid and I just need to run the AC even more than my solar system will allow. And so that means dealing with gas, and that means driving with gas in the truck, and it almost always spills. You think the gas attendant has put the lid on correctly and closed the other little thing that is for the gas to be able to breathe inside of the jerry can, but 8 times out of 10 I end up spilling gas in my truck, which is a pain in the butt. And just getting the gas into the generator and just dealing with all of that is a bit of a hassle. Thankfully I only have to do it for a couple months of the year. And other mundane things, dealing with mosquitoes, whether that's in my house because my windows and doors are open so often, or it's in my tent because they all just hover outside the tent because they can smell the fresh blood in there, and as soon as you open the door, 3 mosquitoes come zipping in. So they steal my sleep on a regular basis. That's a challenge. And last but not least, the sun shriveling my plants. No matter how much water I give them, they just get cooked. So basically for the next month or 2, I'm not going to start anything new. I am starting baby tomato plants from seed, but I'm probably gonna have them in the house because I put some babies into the earth here and I sprayed them with the natural insecticide, and they still got eaten and shriveled by the sun. So the garden is an uphill battle right now. But having said all that, I still really appreciate living off grid, and I was reminded how fortunate I am. A few nights ago, the power went out, which often happens here in the summer because everyone's using their air conditioning and it crashes the grid. And the feeds were just going wild in my different WhatsApp groups, people complaining about not having power. And I felt so grateful to have control of my own power supply. Because basically here, the difference between having even a little bit of power and having no power is the difference between day and night. The difference between having a fan and just sitting in this still, humid, wickedly hot air is like, it makes all the difference just to have a little bit of power. And so all these people that are on the grid kind of need a generator if they want to live comfortably through the summer here anyway. So it's like, well, if you're gonna have a generator, then maybe just get some solar panels, and then next thing you know, you're living off grid. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Any questions, any comments, shared experiences, you know where to put them. Coaching and consulting, you know where to find me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon on the next video. Bye for now.